Yes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bernard Imejuru. This is course 7 to 3 final report presentation. Um, this final report presentation is broken into parts. I'm going to briefly describe them. We have the executive summary, which showcases Brownsville community with a population of 83,377 people. Majority, it houses a lot of tribes and ethnic groups, but we have African Americans at the highest number of ethnic group, followed by the Hispanics. The community speaks multiple languages, but English language is the main language of communication. It's a multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multilinguistic society. Some of the issues we have in Brownsville is issues of housing, though it's highly densely populated and has a lot of buildings, both private and government buildings, but the price of to rent apartment is so expensive. So one of the major issues we have. We also have problems of access to healthcare. So we have a lot of hospital facilities and clinics around, but the cost for medical care is very expensive. Without insurance, people may not be able to afford these medical services that are available. The government have subsidized incentives in almost all the rectifications, but generally speaking, the access to healthcare is very poor, and also have issues of alcohol and drug abuse. This is especially more in our teenage population. Also have high rate of crimes. Though recently, the latest report from NYPD indicated that the crime rate in the Brooklyn generally is dropping, and it's a good news. Another issue we have in Brownsville is insurance issues, as I said before, that is leading to the poor access to healthcare. Not everybody is insured. Most people don't have jobs, and most insurance are tied to jobs. And if you don't have a job, how are you going to get insurance? And most people are illegal, undocumented immigrants who may not have insurance as well. Another problem we have is obesity. Obesity is one of the problems we have in Brownsville, and it's a major cause for alarm. Also, lack of insurances as well. And the next slides will be specific health issues. The specific health issues we have in Brownsville is the major priority health issue in my project is poverty, because I believe poverty drives other socioeconomic disparities. When one is poor, access to health, education, and other things are limited. Also have issues of low bike weight, premature death, obesity as previously mentioned, drug and alcohol abuse. And sexually transmitted diseases are common too here in Brownsville. We have a lot of teen pregnancies due to poverty, as I said before. Insurance issues, unemployment rates are so high that many people are working out the book and are unemployed. High violent crime rates, high incarceration rates, especially among our teenage youths, especially boys and young men. Housing issues, because of the high cost of apartments in Brownsville, very expensive. We have a lot of government project buildings around, scattered all over the places in Brownsville. But the issue about government building is relatively there are very few compared to the number of people that want accommodation per se. So we need government to step up their responsibility to provide more subsidized government project buildings so as residents could have access to them. Another major problem we have in Brownsville is single parenthood. So many families have mothers as a head of family, and it comes with a lot of issues in terms of raising children and to afford education for these kids. It's going to be difficult because it's only single parents. You might have a single mother with about 4 or 5 kids. So this is another problem we have in Brownsville. I have some of the slides here that I took when I was driving around the town. This slide is to showcase one of the parks we have in Brownsville. You can see it's well guarded and some trees, and then playground for children and some gym center down the other side, a basketball court, and it's one of the recreational centers we have in Britain. We have a lot of them in Brownsville. The centers help people to interact and have social activities to reduce stress and mental problems. The second one I want to show is, is a church. You can see that in the church. You have a lot of churches and mosques too in Brownsville. Um, have a lot of interdenominational churches, the Catholics, the Methodists, and a lot of them. This is just to showcase one example of them. The next one I want to show is a slide of HPV vaccination. The percentage of females aged between 13 to 17 that are vaccinated. These blocks of communities or counties are located in New York City. Those counties that have red uh, colorations are the counties that have low HPV vaccination percent of females aged between 13 to 17. And you can see um, my community, Brownsville, somewhere located somewhere here, which is between the range of 30 to 38% of in terms of number of young females that receive HPV vaccines. Um, this summarily means that we have low percentage of people that turn up to take these vaccines, and HPV vaccines are vaccines that prevent development of cervical cancers in the future. So we need to step up our education, health education, to make sure parents encourage their teenage girls to take these vaccines as should be taken or recommended. The next slide is a slide of the median household income. You can see that my community is located on this gray brown shaded area that has a median income of about 50, if I can see clearly, 55,000 dollars per annum, while that of the New York City itself, averagely, it comes up to 60,000, and that of the United States averagely comes up to about 58,000. So you can see that we in this community that belongs here are actually below the city and the national median household income level. The next slide I would like to show is a slide of race or ethnicity. You can see in my community is a distribution of race and or ethnicity in terms of population. You have more blacks in my community, as I said before in the presentation, up to 60% are all blacks, followed by Hispanics at about 20%. And other races, that is whites, Asian, Native Americans, and Islanders, are all below 10%. So by far, African Americans are blacks generally are by far more in population than any other race in my community. Yes, the next slide I would like to show is the slides of share on and between males and females in terms of longevity or life expectancy. You can see the averagely is between 50 to 71% of life expectancy in the US. in my community. Another slide also I'd like to share is the workforce. You can see the workforce. I said in my presentation, we have different kinds of workforce: healthcare support workforce, personal care and services, administrative sales, transportation, construction, management, education, training, library, cleaning, maintenance services, law enforcement agents, firefighting supervisors and workers, community and social work, legal work, health practitioners, management practitioners, and business and financial workers. So it cut across all levels of endeavor in life. The next one is a slide of uh, average income, net income per annum. Um, you can see that Brownsville is between 4 to 10% of the national average income levels. Yes, next slide I would like to show also is median property value. You can see I compared that with New York City and the United States. Property values in my community is high. Generally, look at that. It's almost 420,000 to acquire to have a minimum one bedroom or two bedroom apartment, while that of New York is about 280,000, and that of United States is about 180,000 also. So you can see, despite the fact that we are the poorest community around, still the buildings around us are very expensive. We can't even afford to rent them, and afford to live in them. So that's a major problem we also have to tackle, so that residents can afford to have shelter, to have where they put their head at the end of the day. You know. So my next slide is limitations. In this my presentation, I discovered some limitations in the presentation. One is the small focus group discussion cells. Because of the nature of the population, we divided our discussion group into small cells so we can be able to capture larger volume of cells. That's one of our limitations. Another is study sample. Then qualitative and quantitative data integration. After collecting data from participants, we have to integrate it into the system and make it produce data as I presented them. Most times you might have problem interpreting this data. Other problems you have are poor access to local dwellers. Brooklyn is large, and there are some people that live in remote areas who are not able to cover it. So next my suggestion is next time to provide logistics so as to cover such area. Uh, yes. Um, the last few points on my limitations are limited local resources. We lacked funding and acceptability by target groups. These are also few other limitation factors that we encountered. In conclusion, I presented priority health assessment of my community, identifying poverty as a major priority health issue with some other associated socioeconomic disparities we have in health, poor access to healthcare, infant mortality, etc., etc. And poor access to healthcare, no insurance coverages, reduced life expectancy, housing issues, mental cases, unemployment issues as part of our problems. Also call for the federal and state government fortification of AIDS and other poverty alleviation strategies to help residents in Brownsville attain healthy and quality lifestyle. Thank you very much. The rest of the slides are references, reference sections. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.